welcome back, adventurers, to the Total Party Kitchen, a show where we make every recipe in the official Dungeons & Dragons cookbook called Heroes Feast, and each week we decide what we're going to make based on dice roll. So let's roll the dice now. 49, and that is in the halfling section, and it will be melted cheese with chunky tomato broth. And it says here, halflings not only know their cheese, they also boast in innumerable ways to prepare it. Bread buttered on the outside is layered with strips of cheese, sprinkled with seasoning, and pan-fried before being sliced into strips or dippers for soup dunking. The recipe itself is quite simple and really just an excuse to eat more cheese. Sometimes served spicy, these sandwiches are often dashed with dill, nutmeg, basil, or the like, depending on the mood of the chef. The same goes for the accompanying soup, commonly a chunky tomato, but occasionally smooth red pepper puree. It's always served warm, more as a sort of dipping sauce that can be guzzled once the cheeses have disappeared. One of the simplest midday recipes in the halfling repertoire. Melted cheese have also been heavily adopted by humans across the land, with the dish adorning countless tavern menus. And it's grilled cheese and tomato soup. I mean, it's perfect. We made this on a snowy afternoon. So we're just going to jump right into the video and make this classic. So, as it seems like we do with most videos here, we start by chopping an onion. We made it pretty brief because I feel like we've done this time and time again. Onions are so commonly used. They're delicious, but you don't need to see them chopped every time. So we're just going to give it a quick peel, and we are going to finely chop it. And we're just using a sweet Vidalia onion, but it is not specific to what kind of onion in the recipe. I just thought like the sweetness would add a little nice flavor to the soup itself. So here you can see them being finely chopped in small pieces. And a little other prep work, we're going to take a little bit of parsley and coarsely chop that. And we're going to set this aside. We don't use this to the end, but it's a good time to prepare it in the beginning. And the recipe calls for 8 ounces of firm or semi-firm cheese, such as a young cheddar, Colby, Monterey Jack, Fontana, Havarti, Gouda, or baby Swiss, coarsely grated. We actually used Havarti and cheddar. We figured, why use one cheese when you can use 2? So we just coarsely shred that. And then to our Dutch oven, we add 2 tablespoons of butter, unsalted butter, and 2 tablespoons of salted butter. And now we're adding our chopped onion. I'm going to stir that up, and we just want to bring that to a golden color. It only took maybe like 4 minutes or so. It didn't take very long to do this, but we just stir it occasionally and bring it up to a nice golden brown color. Oh, we also want to throw in 1 bay leaf and about a teaspoon of salt, and then mix that together. And now we're going to cook that for about 4 minutes until it's golden brown, as you see here. And again, to this, we are going to add a tablespoon of tomato paste. And a tablespoon of brown sugar. And the recipe says to cook this, stirring constantly until it becomes fragrant, only about a minute. And after about a minute, you can really smell it. It smells great at this point. Just a quick stir to incorporate everything, get everything heated up. Just about there. There we go. And then to this, we're going to add 4 cups of chicken broth. go. And then the other thing that this calls for is 1 28-ounce can of peeled whole tomatoes. It says to hold 3 tomatoes aside, which we did. And then you add the rest, the juice and the other whole tomatoes to this broth, which we're doing now. So on the counter, we have 3 of these tomatoes that we just kind of put aside in a small bowl and we're holding on to. So now we give that a stir. And we're going to put this over medium-low heat and bring it up to a simmer, stirring occasionally so nothing sticks. We also did add 2 tablespoons of long grain white rice. I'm not sure why that didn't appear in the video, but it's in there for sure. And so it's been stirred, it's starting to simmer. We're going to put the cover on and leave that for about 20 minutes. So now it's 20 minutes later. We're going to root out the bay leaf. And you can see the rice there. I'm not sure how we didn't get that on the video. And now we're going to use our immersion blender. If you have a regular blender, you can just pour it into a blender. And we are going to blend this to make it all consistent. We're going to crush up those tomatoes that have been cooking. There we go. Get them all in there. Now the soup is much thicker than it was. Just going to kind of blend it all together and make it nice and consistent. And then we're going to take those 3 tomatoes and we're just going to coarsely chop those, as you can see here. You don't have to be real fancy with it. And then this is going to just get added to the soup. And you can either keep it over low or it really doesn't take long to make the sandwich. So it will be warm by the time you get ready for it. And so now we're going to switch over to the sandwich portion. Oh, wait, no. We stir it first, of course. Make sure everything gets incorporated evenly. And now we're going to switch over to the sandwich portion. We have 4 slices of bread. The recipe calls for 8, but there's only 2 of us, so we made 2 sandwiches instead of 4. And you're just going to butter it. We should have let that butter soften up a little bit more. You can see us kind of have a little struggle there, getting the bread, butter evenly spread over the butter. Which I'm going to say we kind of give up and just put a couple pads of butter on there. When you put it on the grill, it kind of spreads around and the bread absorbs it pretty well. So, I don't think it's a big difference. And now we're going to take our shredded cheese mixture. Now we're going to put about 1/4 cup or so, maybe 1/2 cup in there. And put the butter back on. And we're going to do that for each sandwich. And we used Italian bread. You can use whatever bread suits your fancy. And now right onto a screaming hot griddle. And we got a little bit of a mess there. Let's see if we can do a better job with the second one. And there we go. That one's much better. And you can see the butter starting to run out. And you're just going to leave it. It doesn't take long. Just a minute or 2. You don't want to walk away from these because they can burn pretty quick. And now we're going to give them a flip. Fix that bread. There we go. And now we're going to flip the other one. Cook the other side. There we go. And you can cook to your desired toastedness, whether you like it a little burnt. Now we're going to plate. Sandwich. You can see the sandwiches in the background there. So we're going to put the ladle of the soup into a bowl. If you want, you can use a real grown-up ladle and not this little tiny thing that we're using here. I think it's a gravy ladle. And then we're going to put the sandwich, which we sliced into dunking sticks as the recipe calls for. You can see them there. It's 4 or 5 per sandwich, depending on the size of the bread. And then we're going to garnish some of that chopped parsley that we used in the beginning. Sprinkle it across the top of the soup. And that's it. It's very simple. It's delicious. It's grilled cheese and tomato soup. You can't go wrong. It's perfect for a cold winter day, which when we filmed it, it was very chilly out, and we'd just gotten some snow. So it's really a classic, an American classic, and it was not my go-to. I'm not a big soup person. I'm not a big tomato soup person, for sure. But I mean, it was really good. It was very onion forward, a little sweet from the brown sugar and the Vidalia onion. But it's grilled cheese too. You can't go wrong with grilled cheese in any way. Super simple, great one to make with the kids on a cold day, maybe a snow day when they are out of school unexpectedly. The ingredients are very easy to come by. You can even kind of, just keep a can of whole tomatoes and some chicken broth on hand, and that's pretty much the majority of what you need other than onion and cheese. And you can whip that up real simple. Strongly recommend it if you're a tomato soup fan. It's a simple recipe, and it's better than canned soup. It's fresh. So definitely recommend it. It was a great one to make, much quicker than our last one, which was a much longer process. But yeah, another success from the Heroes Feast cookbook. Perfect for a lunch, and we highly recommend you check it out and give it a try and let us know. Post pictures of your creation in the comments below. Let us know how it came out and what you thought. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell for notifications of the next episode of this coming out. And as always, get into the kitchen prior to your Dungeons & Dragons game and whip up a snack. It's a great way to spend time with friends. And we will see you next time when we determine what we're going to be making based on the dice roll. And until we're done cooking all these recipes in the Heroes Feast cookbook. Thanks for watching.